14, Michael Pavick. Defense, senior number 33, Eli Colby. Defense, senior number 55, Soren Thrall. The Wildcats assistant coaches are Dale Clover, Matt Sixford, and Tony Matea. The head coach of the Eagan Wildcats is Bob Felter. Ladies and gentlemen, your Eagan Wildcats.
Look at Dolby out there in his pants. look at Eli out there in his pants.
Come on, dude, toughen up. He's a hockey player.
One of the girls had Gracie McNichol. No shirt underneath. She was the Iron Woman out there.
Are we on? Oh, we're good. Okay.
All right, we're good. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Wildcat Stadium for this Tuesday tilt. The Lakeville South Cougars are in town to play our Wildcat boys in tonight's kind of wet Eagan Lacrosse Minnesota State High School League contest. This is Ken. I'm here with Scott. We are our good friends from Eagan TV are putting this game out into the universe forever, however you decide to partake. Tonight, the Cougars are in town. Scott, what's some things we got to look at?
Well, the Cougars are a surprise team this season. They're 4-0. Last year, they only won 5 games in the entire regular season, so we got a different Cougar team this year. They are led by a trio of attacks, Skylar Russ, Jack Dempsey, and Nick Scher. They've combined for 54 points in 4 games already, so they are a force, and they're going to put some points on the board, and Eagan's going to have to do some things to slow them down.
Right on. So it looks like the Cats and Pavic 1-0 in the face-offs, and the face-offs have been a topic of conversation for us, Scott, every game so far this season.
Yeah, it's we'll get as we get into the game here, we'll get through the keys to the game. On Eagan's side, it is number 1, right? And like to see that opening face-off when South's number 9 Peter Carlson is coming in with a 72% win percentage in his face-offs. So nice first win for the Wildcats there by Michael Pavic.
Big shot from the top. That's number 9.
Cole Gibson with the shot there. Lakeville gets possession. So, on the Eagan side, in addition to the face-offs, Eagan's got to be aware this might not be the Lakeville South team they expected to see in here, right? Lakeville South is coming off a huge win last Thursday, a double overtime win against Rosemount, who was ranked number 4 in the state at the time. They're sneaking up on some people, and Eagan's got to be ready for this. So, again, face-off's big. Eagan's got to come out fast and come out firing, right, to counter this. And they got to, good, smart possessions, be aggressive towards the net, get some good quality shots right away. The other thing of note,
a forced turnover. Colbert trying to get the ball back. Looks like Gibby's going to take a shot up at the sideline there. Does regain possession, but pushed out of bounds. Scott, this Cougar team's kind of in a rebuilding mode after some of the stats you rattled off earlier about last season, et cetera, et cetera. The Cats really should not come out slow against these guys, should they?
No, they shouldn't. They have to come out fast. They're 3-1. This is a game the Cats need to win, right? And the best thing to do, Lakeville South coming off of a big win, come after them, get after them fast, and put some distance between yourselves and them. Not let them hang around. They're probably going to be suffering from a little bit of a big win hangover, even though it was 5 days ago. But that's the last time they took the field.
Well, we've kind of notoriously taken our time, kind of showing our hand here. Point in case last in the Burnsville game.
Yeah.
We came out a little lethargic, and it took us a little time to get going. Ultimately, it went our way. Shot, score.
I believe that is Jack Stone.
Kind of the unassisted dumper on the post as he was working his way in from behind the net. Games like this, we clearly, a win's a win, but we do not want to come out slow. We're starting to get in that middle leg of the season where you want to start showing the true character of your team.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about this sort of transitional phase, and we'll get to that later in the telecast. What's coming in the next 7 to 10 days? But again, when we looked at the start of the schedule, we probably didn't expect Lakeville South to be 4-0. We probably didn't expect them to beat Rosemount, but they did. They're a program that, like the programs we saw last week, Burnsville, Farmington, they're trying to build the foundation and start to build a program. Here you've got a program who's done that the last couple of years. They're now looking to take the next step. How do we get a little higher? How do we move up in the South Suburban Conference standings? How do we get over the hump and beat Lakeville North in a sectional final game? That's what this program is trying to do.
Exactly. Another unforced error by the Cougars. Stone with the ball, looking for an open man, not finding one immediately. Take matters into his own hands. And bringing it across. Looks like that might be whips.
So this is what the Wildcats need to start. The possession it's being played in Lakeville South end right now for the first 3 minutes, and like Ken said earlier, notorious slow starts in every game this year, and we saw big sections of games where the Wildcats were allowing their opponent to set up shop in their own end, and I like this, coming out and establishing some early dominance, getting possessions, working the ball around.
Beautiful.
Oh, what a great feed. What a great feed and a nice, strong finish.
8 back up front to number 9. Gibson from Schultz put the Cats up 2-0, just under 9 minutes remaining, first quarter, 2-0 Wildcats. Yeah, this has not necessarily been how the vast majority of the games have started for us. We've been very evenly matched. The Chanhassen game, the East Ridge game, but we've come out a little lethargic, as we said, against Farmington and Burnsville. Great game against a team that is, on a high note right now. Maybe their first 3 games of the season up to the Rosemont game have not been, big, massive wins. The Rosemont game, obviously, a big win. They're coming off that win. Good for us to come out and exert our intensities on them right now.
Absolutely. So they're a face-off win for Peter Carlson from South. Again,
Donley over to Thrall. The Poles trying to work it out. Little assault from behind. Oh, just a little grab by Wilson as the Cougars take over again with possession. It's been kind of a physical game with the sticks up to this point. Haven't seen a lot of body. We're going to get an offsides, I believe. Timeout, Lakeville South.
So I think what South's going to do here is we're nearly 4 minutes into the game, Ken, and they haven't had a possession yet. This is going to be the first chance they get to set up in the zone, and we'll get our first look at that trio of attacks, Russ Dempsey and Shear, also along with Chase Leckvey, a senior midfielder who has put in 11 goals already in 4 games this year. So, hey, a great test for our defense. Can we not only prevent them from getting scoring opportunities, can we create turnovers? Can we disrupt their flow and take these 3 strong, productive attackmen in a midfield out of their game and out of their rhythm and get possession to the other side of the field?
And let's understand that those attributes, the ability to disrupt a rhythm and to play, real strong body defense, those are things we need to do against everyone, including the teams that may just be coming in a rebuilding phase or even a kind of a more mid-tier team off of a big win. We still have to execute.
Yep, we do, absolutely. You can never not execute, and let's see, on the defensive side of the ball if we can get it done and move across the midfield line and get some things going. So the goalie tonight for the Cougars, at least now in the first half, is junior Carter Huebner. Evan Leckvey had been playing most of the time this season, played a good chunk of time as an 8th grader last year. That was going to be one of our storylines and thing to watch for a game. How could a 9th grade goalie, even with some experience, handle the Wildcats attack? But it appears tonight that Carter Huebner is got the call and goal, at least in the first half, a junior for the Cougars. So we'll kind of monitor that and see how that plays out if possibly Leckvey will come in the second half.
So Cougars, as you mentioned, Scott, getting their touch, setting up for the first time tonight. They've had limited possession, but they are at the moment right now in the Wildcat zone. Donley on number 15. That was Skylar Rust. Poles are matched up against those big attacks, and it's going to be a good test to see where they're at on some. Maybe they're not top-tier attackmen, but they're clearly putting the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah, anytime you get that kind of production, it doesn't matter who you're playing early in the season. They're able to put balls in the net.
That's usually Tony as well.
Cougars maintaining. We're just under 7:30 remaining first quarter. 2-0 Cats. Eagan TV, our partners tonight. the stream machine and the production team that has normally been coming at you, taking the night off for our good friends from Eagan TV.
So just some initial observations. Lakeville South offensively looks quick. Quicker than the teams we've seen this far. We saw a good quality Eastridge team. They were a little bit more deliberate. They wanted to slow the game down. I'm seeing some good quick ball moving around here. Rust and Dempsey, Shear, they're fast. They can move, and it's going to require on our defensive side, knees bent, butts down, feet moving, head up. They're quick and they can move.
Well, it is clearly an interesting observation in that we thought that some of the previous days, a nice steal there by number 9, that's Gibby with a little stick attack, and he has just got nothing but green grass. He's looking as he gets the touch and sets up. A lot of the teams have chose to slow the tempo down to keep us off of the offensive side, get us into a little more of a sleep mode, but Lakeville South is clearly snapping passes around and definitely bringing the fight to the Wildcats tonight. They are down 2-0, 6:30 remaining quarter one. Cats have possession back, and we'll see what they can do.
A great play defensively by Cole Gibson. Forced a turnover, picked up the ground ball. Everybody likes to score goals in lacrosse.
Oh, there you go.
Nice work there.
Yeah, another quick hitter. We've talked about a myriad of scenarios for goal production out of this team, and we've twice now seen from behind the net out into the slot. That time it was Schultz up to Whips, I believe.
Oh,
Whips.
Yeah, Whips on the goal.
2 on the goal. Colbert
Ryan
from
Colbert
Schultz.
with the finish.
Very nice, real quick.
Yep, good finish there, similar to the previous goal that Cole Gibson finished. Ryan Colbert there on a great finish. Great feed from Damian Schultz.
You know, in that last kind of sustained possession that the Cougars had down in the Wildcat, and they worked the perimeter game, lots of passing, but it didn't look like the Poles were in much of a position to let them kind of get inside. We'll see if that can hold up. Those 3 attackmen scoring almost all the points, it seems like, for the Cougars are going to keep the pressure on.
So we talked last week about after the Eastridge loss, we talked about getting some of that interior pressure, so cuts and slices to the middle, and how to get some pressure and get into the interior and not be taking shots from outside. 2 of our first 3 goals were like that. We did see some efforts at that last week in the wins over Burnsville and Farmington. 2 of our first 3 goals, penetration and a quick feed, results in 2 goals. So that's what we need to be doing. We're going to see much better defenses in the coming weeks.
Clearly.
And we need to have that sharp, precise, and we need to be rolling like that. There's going to have to be creative on how we score goals, and that's one way to get it done.
There's a turnover forced by the Cougar. Merwin with a back check and a little fancy stick work back to Wallach, up to Donley, now to Thrall, and they're going to work it out. Lots of passes there to get that ball across midfield as Colby Sorensen brings it up, gets the touch.
Took a few passes, but we'll get it. We'll take it, right?
Absolutely. No, it was good, strong defense down by all 3 Poles. Again, they got their work cut out for them. I'm not sure if it's the test of the season so far, but clearly these guys are used to putting the ball in the net.
Yep, and this group's a little, Eastridge aside, you can see clearly more skill than, again, with the exception of Eastridge. What we saw, they play a different kind of game. They play a completely different kind of game, and you're absolutely right, Ken. We're going to see some great attackmen in the coming couple of weeks here. This is, getting us ready for that.
Wilson kind of pushing the issue, a little head shake, one-way turn over the shoulder, just off the top of the net and out. Cougars with possession.
So now Egan's got to keep the foot on the pedal here. You got to keep the gas up, got to keep pushing. Don't allow the Cougars to get back into this. Ooh, just a little errant shot there.
Yeah, I think that the whole Wildcat team got caught on their heels on that one. I saw some of the Poles directing traffic, trying to get open men covered up. It just so happened that shot was off. I think Wallach would have made the save, but luckily that little bit of that thing opened up so quickly,
right?
That I think we were just caught a little off guard. And there's been some discussions back there about how to prevent that from happening again.
Yeah, it almost looked like the South was trying to give Eagan a dose of their own medicine, a little bit of a fast break, get the ball up the field, make a couple quick passes, and just couldn't finish their Jack Dempsey, the junior attack, just couldn't get a handle on it and get it on goal, so it sailed over the net.
Diffley feeds it to Wilson with 4 minutes remaining. Wildcats 3, Cougars nothing, and Wilson lets one go just off the mark. Again, right idea.
Another feed to the middle, right? We've seen that now. That'll be the third attempt at that.
And again, folks, let's remember we're on a natural grass field, and it's been raining all day, so the footing is a little suspect.
Yeah, I was on the field before the game. Like we talked about the last couple contests here at Wildcat Stadium. Nice shot there. That was Max Meekin.
Yeah, Max Meekin with a big shot. Nice move to create some space. Saw the shot, took it. 4-0 Cats, 3:30 to go in the first quarter.
So the surface fit feels compact and not kind of hard. We didn't say it was terrible footing on the first game. The second game it was like, oh, wait a second. Now that compactness is still there, and you put some water on top of it, there's going to be people slipping and sliding all over the place tonight, and we've seen a couple instances of that so far. Some abrupt sliding and falling. It's part of the surface right now, and I didn't walk into the interior of the field. I walked along the sidelines, but I would suspect the middle might even be a little worse.
Yeah, it could be. So far, so good, all things considered, but we did see just on that last possession, Colbert lost his footing, and it's not uncommon with the direction changes, etc.
And as a player, you can't think about it. If you do, it's going to get you. You just got to play the game, and hey, if you fall, you fall. If you fall, protect the ball, get it to a teammate. It's going to happen, right?
Cougars trying to set up.
Yeah, that was number 15 for the Cougars, Skylar Rust. He comes in the game with 13 goals and 10 assists on the season. Again, the Wildcats gave him a little alley to shoot, and he finished, right? You don't get 13 goals in 4 games by accident.
No, you saw three defenders kind of collapsing on him, so how he got loose in the first place. And again, it happens. 3 minutes remaining, quarter one, 4-1 Cats.
I think we kind of expected or are still expecting this game to be pretty offensive, more offensive in nature than defensive, and there's going to be a lot of goals scored, and you just got to keep the momentum up, keep the gas going, and keep going. It's going to be a high octane game, I believe.
First quarter, 3 minutes, 16 seconds remaining. Cougars scored by Skylar Russ, unassisted, 3:16 remaining first quarter.
Now it looks like South is trying to slow things down just a hair to get their offense set. Pick up that ground ball. There we go. Nice play by Merwin getting that picked up. Get possession back for Eagan.
Merwin to Stone. Stone's got legs. He'll take it across midfield as the Cats are kind of setting up. And again, like you said, too, it looked like they were slowing things down a little bit. I mean, it's to our advantage. It's to Lakeville's advantage to have possession and to let time run off the clock. They're decidedly up in the face-off department right now, and that is something that will not be as big a deal as long as we maintain a 2, 3, 4, 5 goal lead. But as that score kind of maintains or gets itself a little closer, those face-offs are going to be even bigger.
Yeah,
as the Cats turn it over.
Yeah, absolutely they are, and it'll be interesting to anytime somebody comes in with a 70+% face-off win percent, it's like, okay, we got to see what this person's all about.
And that's that wide open space that all of a sudden it was a pole in this case for the it was a pole for the South team that all of a sudden they're looking up and he's just got nothing but room to run. And I think it's disrupting the defense a little bit. They're going, I should cover that guy. But they don't want to give up their own man in doing so.
Right, and Jack Stone ended up reacting and getting over there to cover that. But yeah, everybody looked a little surprised at what was happening there. Don't want to give this team green grass to run in.
He's probably 5'7", 5'8".
We're under about a minute and a half here. Quarter one, 4-1 Cats. Lakeville with the ball. Ooh. McDonley
Good
and
hustle
Merwin
there by
trying to couldn't quite grab onto it. Cougars will maintain possession. 1 minute remaining quarter one.
One night it rained, one night it was cold.
See, that's that separation. Oh, nice post.
the post is the goalie's best friend, right, Ken?
I think so.
Right.
It looks like that might be Rader that took one right to the neck after a little dump-off pass. Finally a flag. That was a really late flag, but I think it's Rader. He kind of turned around and
actually, Wyatt Bucky took the shot to the neck.
He did. That was Bucky to the neck. He kind of turned, and as he was, kind of gesturing in pain, the flag did come out. It was pretty blatant.
Yeah.
3 LSMs this year. Gallus, Bucky, and
Sort of. So Drew Wilson ended up getting the goal after that. I think we were a little we were concentrating on the it was right in front of us. Wyatt Bucky took a shot to the neck and drew a penalty. Eagan converts a Drew Wilson goal to get up 5-1.
there's an illegal body check on number 25.
Yep.
Connor Everson, the sophomore midfielder, will be penalized. Illegal body check. I guess it was a body check. It looked like an assault on the neck, but we'll take the illegal body check.
44 seconds remaining, 5-1 Cats. Lakeville in man down. And we just mentioned
Number 2, Ryan Colbert. Time of the goal, first quarter, 44 seconds remaining. Wildcats goal scored by Drew Wilson.
Big possession here at the end of the quarter. Nice to have a turnover here. Pick that up. Great job.
20 seconds remaining, quarter one. We aren't a man up.
That was Cole Gibson with a nice ground ball pickup. Breaks up that possession, and the Cats are going to march down and see if they can get another one. And they do.
Schultz from whips after Gibby with a nice ground ball, as Scott mentioned, got it down across the center line. 12 seconds remaining. So here we are, the first quarter, Scott's winding down. 6-1 Cats. Early observations.
Egan's doing some of the little things right, creating some of those turnovers. Great ground ball pickup there by Cole Gibson leads to offensive output. I like the pace on offense. I like what they're doing. They're creating pressure in front of the Lakeville goal with some of those cuts and slices. 3, 4 of the 6 goals have come from pretty close range, so good so far. You can't let up against this Cougar team. They can score goals, and they can score goals fast.
Yeah, I would agree. I think of all the kind of mid-tier teams we've faced so far, this is not a team that you can let up on.
Starting to look like last year and 2 years ago's team as far as fast break.
And there's the horn, quarter one. We'll put it in the books, quarter one. 6-1 Cats after one. So again, we wanted to just quickly point out we are fortunate tonight to have our friends from Eagan TV in the box, taking care of our technical aspects. And here we go. We'll switch sides on this damp night. 6-1 Cats, and as Scott said, the Cats are doing a lot of things right.
Yeah, they are. I like the pace they're playing at, that sense of urgency. And one of our concerns was, are they going to be ready for this Lakeville South team, who was probably is a lot better than they expected? They came out, they're ready. Now you got to keep going. A 5-goal lead in Lacrosse is really not necessarily safe. So you got to keep that up. You got to keep that pressure up through the second quarter and keep doing the little things. Lots of ground ball pickups. I like some of the disruptions on defense. The recovery is picking up. It's really good to see. Hey, and I believe we have 6 different goal scorers. I believe. 6 goals, 6 different scores. We've talked about that in some of the earlier telecasts, how to get that balance, and can the scoring be Schultz and Wilson and Stone are going to get their goals, but are there other people that can produce and score? And starting to see that, right? There's some people out there that are putting some stuff in the net, getting some points. We need that. It's good to have a diverse base of scorers again, especially in the coming weeks when we come up against some of the more top teams in the state.
We've talked about teams preparing for Drew Wilson.
Yep.
Teams understanding that goals generate out of Damian Schultz,
Yep.
Jack Stone, and there's a few other names that come to mind. Now you're seeing Max Meekin. In the last couple of games, we've seen Sorensen, we've seen Willery, we've seen people putting the ball in the net that are going to be needed when people are collapsing on guys that have put the vast majority of our goals up.
Yeah, if you look down besides the big 3 you mentioned, I'm coming into the contest tonight. Ryan Colbert with 7 goals, Tanner Whips with 7 goals, Cole Gibson with 4. Matt Verbeck has 4 goals, right? Colby Sorensen, you mentioned him. So Ben Willery, you mentioned with 4 assists coming into the game. So there are some other people scoring.
Sure.
That's got to continue. This
Absolutely.
can't be a 3-scorer kind of a team.
Yep.
It might be tough to make a deep run through the section into the state tournament if only 3 guys are producing. We need 6 or 7 or even 8, right? And we're starting to see the ability of some of those others to do that.
Well, I think we pointed out some of our more relaxed starts recently. I don't know that the score would be 6-1 Wildcats had we come out of the gate as the Cougars win that face-off and get their touch. Had we opened up like we did against, say, Burnsville.
Right,
or
yeah.
even, say, Farmington.
Yep.
Just a little bit slower out of the block. So they're answering the bell tonight, and they're playing the kind of game that they need to play to effectively play against this Lakeville South team.
Yep, absolutely. The face-offs are tilting in South's favor. Nice break up there defensively. Again, you don't get a turnover out of that, but you disrupt their flow. You disrupt their possession and make them reset.
That field actually looks a lot more playable, I think, than we had initially thought it might be. It's clearly wet. There's been raining all day. We've seen guys go down. But it seems like it's been kind of at a minimal. As Gibson, it's raining lacrosse balls there, and he was unable to get the umbrella out. Cougars will maintain possession.
Again, another example of breaking up their play, breaking up their rhythm. That time it was Cole Gibson. It forces them to reset and start over again. Those are good defensive plays.
Big save by Wallach.
Nice save. That was Chase Luckvey on the shot there, a senior midfielder. Good looking shot. Great save by Wallach. Going to be Cougar ball. Again, it's a Cougar snuck away, and I didn't quite catch his number, but again, got some green grass to run it. It's a little concerning. We need to cut down those lanes. That was Nick Shear, a senior attackman. Again, there you see it's one of their 3 attacks we mentioned at the start of the telecast, and gave him an open lane and ripped off a good shot. Nice player.
Well, I think everybody had their men kind of accounted for. He came in from behind the net and thought, "I'm just going to pump one at the goalie," and tough one to defend for our goaltender. The guy comes out of your blind spot, turns and shoots. 6-2 Wildcats in the second. 10:24 remaining.
So let's keep an eye on these face-offs here. Peter Carlson for the Cougars and Michael Pavic, 14 for the Wildcats.
Scoring for Lakeville South, an assisted goal scored by
Ball's loose. Looks like we're going to get a push.
It's going to be Cougars. It's been kind of all Cougars possession-wise in the second quarter. Kind of a sustained possession, a few shots on goal, maintaining possession, face-off with a push or a hold, and they'll have possession again as the Cats are scrambling to kind of get assembled on defense.
Oh, another slip there. That was number 12 for the Cougars, Jack Dempsey, the junior attackman. I think what happened there is Soren Thrall planted his feet, slipped, fell down, and it gave Dempsey a clear path to the goal, right?
Probably not a great penalty either. It was after the fact. If the Cats are going to get physical, it's probably going to have to be a little bit before these guys have already broached, around the net and gotten great shots off. That's Merwin probably on the push. After the fact, he'll be on the sideline waiting for the call. 10 minutes remaining, 6-3.
One minute penalty.
1 minute unnecessary roughness, number 4. 10 minutes.
roughness, penalty number 4, Zach Merwin. Time of the penalty.
That was 15. Skylar Rust came into the game with 13 goals, and you see why. That's a lethal shot. In the first quarter, we were defending that. And I understand we were a man down, but we were defending that. We were cutting down those shooting lanes and cutting down those passing lanes. He had a clear shot at the net. An attackman of that caliber is going to convert those.
Okay, so again, Scott, you mentioned earlier, 5-goal lead in lacrosse is really not a safe lead. Now we're a 2-goal game with just under 10 minutes remaining, 6-4 Cats in the second.
Goal number 3, they scored those goals 7 seconds apart.
This is so. What's these face-offs are getting a little dangerous, Ken, because on a couple, 3 of these most recent ones, Peter Carlson is almost winning them clean and just streaking down the field. Fortunately, the Wildcats created a turnover, and Eli Dolney's picked it up, and we got a whistle.
We had a big body check there, and everyone looking for the flags. It was clearly a much more authoritative check than the one that sent a Wildcat to the sideline earlier. But that is the time to make those body moves when ball's in play. It's a lot less blatant than when you're knocking the guy down that just scored a goal. So Cougars got possession down 2, under 10 minutes to play quarter 2. And again, this is where we decide, will the Cats try to get their rhythm back and to kind of retake control of the game here?
That's number 13, Chase Lackfee. So, again, I a little more standing around on the defensive side, a wide open shooting lane there. Some of the things the Wildcats were doing great in the first quarter, not doing as great in the second quarter defensively. And we're 3 minutes in, and I don't know if we've had an offensive possession yet. I don't think we have.
No, that's the key storyline in this second quarter: possession and the momentum swing.
Yeah, completely. And we can't win. We've been struggling to win faceoffs.
Yeah, and I mean, that's going to be an ongoing topic of conversation for us. It's not a deal breaker. The breakdowns are coming after the fact, in that we're not able to disrupt the rhythm. And
right.
Here we go again. Cougar have the ball. Let's see if we can disrupt their rhythm here as they come in kind of.
Yeah, I think it's about time for a timeout now from Coach Felter. We again a quick, easy face-off win. Peter Carlson brings it down, distributes, and a quick goal. That's Skylar Rust.
Well, and again, we're kind of closing out that first leg of the season, and at this point, you want to be able to shift back. We have a tie ball game here.
Yeah.
8:53 remaining second quarter. The Cats have given up 5 unanswered goals, and the moral of the story is what do the Wildcats do?
Right. We either got to slow them down off ideally win a face-off or 2. If not, slow them down and prevent Peter Carlson. Peter Carlson's picking up the ball and running right in and getting a touch and distributing. There's our quick bam goals. Somebody's got to get a body on him. We got to slow him down, right? It's starting to feel a little bit like the third quarter of the Eastridge game. We can't get a possession. Our opponent's setting up and dominating in our end, and we haven't had an offensive touch in now the 3 minutes and 7 seconds of the quarter, and that's exactly what we saw at Eastridge, and it's exactly how Eastridge climbed back into that game. I believe that was a 5-1 game at one point. They built an 8-5 lead over the course of 2 quarters. We've seen the Cougars take just about 4 minutes to erase a 5-goal lead. A minute and a half, says our executive producer, Rich Mills. Trying to give people the benefit of the doubt here, but facts are facts, right?
They got they got goal number 2 at 10:24.
Wow. And again, for people that are listening to us, watching us over the course of the season, you're probably like, with those guys, stop talking about face-offs.
We'd love to.
In the last 3 minutes, you've just seen a demonstration of why they're so critically important. Again, there's been 5-6 face-offs in the quarter, and I think they've cleanly won all of them. So, tie game, back to where we were at the start. We got to get possession of the ball. We got to set up and dictate the tempo of the game here. So Joey Gallus, the LSM, the senior LSM, is in the face-off circle and going to see what he can do. Same result. Okay, somewhat of an improvement there. If you saw on the screen, if you're watching, both
Big save by Wallach.
both Meisinger and Gallus collapsed on Carlson and prevented him from penetrating the interior. Nice shot by Tanner Whips. So there we go. That's the kind of momentum change we need to see. So Gallus Meisinger clamped down on Carlson, prevented him from penetrating the interior. We get a turnover. We move it down the field. A quick 1-2 goal there to get the Cats back in the lead.
Yeah, nice momentum breaker because things were getting a little Cougar-like, and we needed something to kind of break up that monotony. Again, too, we've said it before. We've probably seen maybe 4 guys in the face-off circle this season, maybe 5. It's going to be by committee. Whoever gets the hot hand is going to see the most face-offs, and up to this point, it's anyone's game. But a minor improvement would be a step in the right direction.
Yep, looking for small wins here.
There's the freshman. Took that last one.
That was Patrick Ryman. So again, as Ken said, we've seen a number of guys in the face-off circle. Freshman Patrick Ryman. We've seen junior Robbie Otto. We've seen Michael Pavic, the sophomore. We've seen Max Meekin, the junior, take a couple. We saw Joey Gallus take one there. Again, a variety of people, and to some degree, there's been pockets where each has had some success, but just haven't had that consistency.
Right, and that's exactly it. We're just missing that consistency.
So, and again, on the last one, South got the possession, but we slowed down that fast break. We forced him to go backwards, put immediate pressure on Carlson, the face-off specialist, and force Lakeville to set up here and slow down. Now looking for some good. That was a nice shot.
7:29 remaining second quarter.
Aaron Shaw, the senior midfielder,
with the goal to tie us up at 7 again. This could just wind up being a kind of a back and forth thing until a rhythm gets established by one of the two clubs to kind of create some separation.
You know, we
clearly had some rhythm. Then the Cougars had their chance in the percussion section, and now we're kind of going back and forth here. Again, back in the face-off circle, and I can't see for the official who's in there.
I think it's Pavic. It looks like 14.
7 all.
Oh, 21. Yeah, okay, we were all wrong. Robbie Otto, one of the aforementioned people that we had mentioned, had been taking some face-offs.
Yeah, it clearly looks like a tale of two teams right now because it looks like we've actually switched uniforms with the Cougar team from the first quarter to what we're seeing now.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's all possession red. It's all rhythm red. And they're moving the ball around the field with relative ease.
Nick Shear, the senior attackman, finishes that. He was relatively undefended there. That looked like what Eagan was doing in the first quarter.
Yeah, they're getting that ball around the net, and they're trying to get guys collapsing, and in doing so, you either give up the initial or you give off the dump pass.
So I think Eagan has had the ball in Lakeville's end for about 10 seconds. We're 5 minutes and a second into the quarter. 10 seconds.
Well, I think we've kind of established in this growing long but still relatively short season that this Wildcat team is trying to define their personality, and right now we've looked phenomenal and less so against about every team we've played so far. It wasn't, minus the Burnsville game when things clearly got out of hand for Burnsville. We went back and forth.
Time of the goal, second quarter, 6 minutes, 59 seconds remaining. Cougars goals.
Minus that mishap, I mean, there's a guy streaking in.
But now we got to take advantage of these turns. Now there's a flag. It's good. I think going to be on the Cougars.
Looks like that might be Stone over to Wilson maybe with a shot.
Nice shot.
Yeah.
And there should be a penalty on the Cougars, and another flag comes out.
Michael 13, 5 on the assist.
Correct. Stone feeds Wilson for the tying goal. 8 apiece, 6:31. 2 flags on the field. First one just before Stone picked up the loose ball and took it down, and we shall see where and what flag number 2. The refs are discussing it around midfield.
Looks like one was on the back side of the play. Yeah, push. I saw a Cougar on top of a Wildcat, and I don't know where possibly some kind of altercation or language or something that happened in the immediate aftermath of the goal. The flag came in from that area.
We'll see if our sideline crew can get that information up to us. But at the moment, it's 8-8, Wildcats and Cougars. Lacrosse here at Wildcat Stadium. 6:31 remaining second quarter.
I think the Wildcats just need to get shots on the south goalie, Carter Hubner. Again, we don't have up to the minute stats here. The Wildcats are converting most of their shots. They got to get shots on them, and in order to get shots, they got to have the ball in Lakeville's end.
12 hitting a defensive player, 2 minutes, full time.
Okay, so number 12 for the Cougars, Jack Dempsey. So that's a 2-minute unreleasable penalty. This is a huge opportunity for the Wildcats.
And unfortunately, it starts with a face-off, so we have to disrupt, if not win this face-off, disrupt this possession to take advantage of this.
You got to prevent a clean win. Like, unfortunately, they just got one.
Ball on the ground, though, unforced error. We're trying. Oh, there you go. Pushed in Donley with a clean pickup. He dumps it to Wallach.
And
timeout Cats, I would guess.
I would think so. So, clean win. Ended up forcing a turnover. Donley gets that ground ball, gets it back to the safety of his goalie.
There's a flag is what stopped play.
14, illegal body check, 1 minute.
Huh?
14, illegal body check, 1 minute.
Did you see that?
Well, I didn't, and you know, it's almost, and I also didn't see the hitting a defensive player against the Cougars, so it may have been a little bit of an evener. They kind of took kind of the brunt of that 2-minute unreleasable against the Cougars away, because we saw maybe a push or something right before that goal was set up. I don't recall us seeing a defensive player been hit. We may watch it later tonight or next week or whenever and see it, but didn't see it in real time.
So what's important here for the Wildcats is to get a stop, because when this is done, there will still be some penalty time left of unreleasable. So, you know, a minute penalty on Pavic, number 14. Important to we're in kill that off and pick up a little bit of that man-up situation at the end.
6 minutes even remaining second quarter. 8-8 Cats and Cougars.
Ooh. There, another one of the, that's a field condition situation, and it worked in the Wildcats' favor this time. So,
and it does go both ways. It's just that on that particular one, as Gibby dumps it down for the touch to Colbert, I believe, looking.
So now a patient setup. And see what the Wildcats are going to do here. If they're just going to play catch, try to get their player back, and then move into the man up, or if they're going to try and make something happen here. It kind of appears as though they're slowing it down. Then they've got their player back, so they're back at full strength. A little bit less than a minute of man up situation. And that is an unreleasable penalty, so the Wildcats can score a number of goals.
There's a big shot. Looks like whips unassisted.
There's one.
5 minutes remaining. 9-8 Cats on Whips's goal. We're still in the middle of a man-up, non-releasable situation. We're told by members of the box here that the Cougars will be at full strength at 4:31. So about 30 seconds or so remaining in this man-up situation.
35 seconds. So, again, if you can't win the face-off, slow Carlson up and force him to make a bad pass and get possession and try and capitalize on that unreleasable
Boy, a
penalty.
face-off win would be great here to maximize that 35 seconds. I can't see who it is.
Just prevent a clean win.
Looks like Pavic.
If there's a scrum in there, Tommy Meisinger is undefended because of the man up.
Yeah, if you got to flip.
Oh, a slip. There we go. Carlson
down.
slipped again. He slipped just a moment ago, and there's going to be a penalty on the Wildcats for slashing. Probably.
That'd be my guess, Scott. They might throw those flags a little less judiciously in this colder weather, as we are clearly, looks like we're going into our.
Is that Colby headed to the Carlson? I'm sorry, not Colby, but Carlson.
That's 2. We got 2 on that one.
One aside, one penalty aside.
Looks like we're gonna
Penalty because when he threw the ball out on the ground to hit somebody.
we
Penalties, white 2, slash 1 minute, white 2, conduct 30 seconds.
So there we go. Both on 2. Slash for a minute, conduct 30 seconds. Both on player 2.
So again, the Cats are going to find themselves in a man-down situation shortly, as we have 2 infractions against the Cats, a slash and a conduct. At the moment, we are at even strength, but we will go into a man-down. Cats will be forced to kind of get their sticks up and play some defense. We are under 5 minutes remaining, quarter number 2, timeout, white. That'd be the Wildcats.
Coach Felter taking a timeout to settle things down and talk about, okay, how are we going to manage for the next 23 seconds? We're even, and then we're going to be down for a minute 7. How do we manage through this? How do we kill this off and get some momentum? Can we create a turnover? Boy, if you can get possession at this point, bring it up into the Cougars' end and slow it down and play catch. That would be the best outcome here, probably short of scoring a goal. But that's what you want to do is disrupt that, get possession, and try and kill off that man down situation.
Well, and clearly right now too, we're up a goal, 9-8 Cats, just under 5 minutes, quarter 2. We're heading into to halftime. So anything that happens in the next 5 minutes, we're going to go into the locker room and have to kind of ruminate on that. So do we let the Cougars get back into this game? They're clearly in it, but do we let them tie the game during that man down?
Yeah.
Or I mean, how do we handle this to try to get out of this half with the lead and to kind of build on that momentum in the second half?
Yeah, absolutely. The Wildcats have had the ball in Lakeville South in less than a minute in this in this quarter, and they've scored 3 goals. So the formula seems pretty simple, Ken.
Right.
Get possession and get some shots on Hubner. If in a minute you can score 3 goals, I think literally it's been about a minute, right? Of possession.
It has not been a whole lot more than that. Although it does seem like it's improved in the middle third of this quarter versus the first third, as the timeout is over. Cats are taking the field and trying to get their man down unit ready, because we're going to be a man down here very shortly.
So for those watching, you'll see 4 poles on the field, and then 1 short stick in that man-down situation. A forced turnover here would be huge in this right now, because right now we're effectively 5-on-5 for the next 10 seconds. And it looked like South is just going to be content to kind of play catch and then get into the man up, which, again, you could expect them to do.
Right.
Penalty release. Cougars full strength.
And goal 1-5, unassisted.
So the unfortunate part about that is it takes care of the first penalty, but leaves the second one.
It looks like.
Oh, it doesn't really. Okay, our assistant executive producer says it takes care of both of them. That's good news.
Yeah, that is good news. As it is 9-9, 4:22 remaining, quarter 2. Cats back at full strength. Looked like it was unassisted. That Lakeville South Cougar behind the net, he just ran himself up to our goaltender's left side. He just created enough separation from the goal line and just turned and shot, maybe almost a no-look, and very tough to defend.
Kind of got the matchup he wanted and took advantage. We just want to face off.
We just want to face off.
Okay, let's take advantage of this. Stone kind of bobbles the ball.
Yeah. Looks like Colbert trying to get in there. Stone regains possession.
Great ground ball
to
get in there. That's a huge ground ball.
In traffic, and wisely steps out and sets up as we are back at full strength. 4 minutes remaining. We're all knotted up here at 9, quarter 2. Cougars are in town. Gave them our best our best weather we laid out.
Yeah, it's a fantastic night, 44
nice welcoming
degrees,
weather.
And windy and cold and rainy. But in the booth, it's dry at a minimum. I wouldn't say it's warm.
And we've talked about that formula, Scott, that's worked for us in our limited possession with kind of an unforced error on that possession. But really, the formula has been simple. We've had the ball minimally in the second quarter, and we've put some goals in the net. Set it up and shoot.
we didn't get a shot off there. I liked where Stone was thinking. He saw Damian Schultz on the backside post there and tried to make something happen. We get a force a turnover here, and
Meisinger had a nice ground ball, lost it, got it back, threw it back to the goalie, and it just kind of one of those bad hops. Going to be a Cougar ball with 3:14 remaining. All knotted up at 9 still. Looks like that's number 2 trying to work his way in.
Yep, that's Nick Scheer. He's got a couple goals on the night. There's
that footing again.
Yeah, just lost footing. It's advantageous to be on the offensive side of the ball tonight. You know where you're going. You know when you're going to make that move. And, again, we saw another goal like that where the defender just lost their footing. And the attackmen are kind of having their way with our net right now when they vacate that shooting lane. Well, we said we might had an offensive affair here, and the teams haven't disappointed.
No, they have not.
10-9, and goodness, it could be 15-13 at halftime the way this thing's going.
3:05 remaining. 10-9 Cougars.
Scoring for Lakeville South, his third goal of the game. Number 2, Nick Scheer, unassisted. Time of the goal, second quarter, 3 minutes, 5 seconds remaining. Cougars goal, third.
So there's been, I believe, 14 face-offs in this quarter. I believe 13-1 in favor of the Cougars. That makes it hard.
Yeah, that's not just a minor disparity. That's that's marked, and that is why we keep putting it on our keys to the game, and it's going to remain there until things kind of level out just a little bit. So.
Okay, I like that. Hey, nice defense by Cody Rader, the sophomore. Did just enough to stay with the Cougar player.
Jack Stone, I believe, bringing it in. Oh.
Yep, that was good hustle there.
Cougars maintain.
There we go. So a nice cross-field pass there by Drew Wilson in the hands of Ryan Colbert, and he a couple of quick fakes there and finishes and ties this one up at 10.
2 minutes remaining, 10-10, all tied up here, second quarter.
So a different approach there, maybe working the ball across the field a little bit. There's been a couple attempts at that. It gets the defense shifting and rotating, and create some scoring lanes and some open shots there, which it did.
9-4. Keep those kind of records anymore. Most combined goals in a quarter.
I know that you were willing to stay.
Taking a long time on the face-off here as the officials getting the players set.
Scoring for the Wildcats, his second goal of the game, number 2, Ryan Colbert.
Boy, again, Peter Carlson wins the face-off pretty clean. Runs 30 yards down the field, gets off a shot and scores. It's interesting to look at his, again, this is coming into the game. Carlson's their main face-off guy. 5 goals, 4 assists, and his 72% face-off percentage, which is undoubtedly going to go up tonight, at least through the first 22 minutes of the game.
Right. No, it's a stat that is being padded nicely tonight.
And I think where the Wildcats have had some success is, okay, if he's going to win, force him to go backwards. Force him to back it up into his own half. There's been, I believe, 3 or 4 times where he's been able to penetrate the interior of the Wildcat defense there, and it's all resulted in goals. So that's a halftime adjustment, right, that the coaches will drop. And, it's interesting that position so often is referred to as a FOGO, face-off, get-off. Peter Carlton is a face-off, stay on. He's just as much a regular midfielder for the Cougars as he is a face-off specialist.
Our goalie Wallach's bringing it out, and
So that's something Wallach likes to do. His heart skips a beat sometimes, but we got a possession. All's well.
Well, he's comfortable doing it, and if there's nobody immediately, you got to get you got to advance the ball. Big shot by Colbert down around the ankles. Cougars did not maintain on that one. Cougars trying to clear their zone and get it across the line, looking for that touch.
Big defensive possession here.
42 seconds remaining first half.
A turnover would just be great going into halftime to keep them off the board. And the way this game's going, we might have 25 goals for the winning team and 24 for the losing team. But again, any little thing helps, and if you can stop them at the end of the half and slow them down.
Oh.
Undefended. Just penetrated the interior. Nice little lob pass. Nick Shear, I feel like we've called his name 3 or 4 times tonight.
Yep. Might be a little.
Hey, will you remind people of concessions here quickly when you get a chance?
Yes, we will. Just for those folks that are a little chilly out there, I guess the people at home don't need to.
Yeah, they don't need to.
Hey, go to your refrigerator, get something warm to drink. Keep thinking around the PA here. We can yell out the window if suddenly we need a little extra help. But we're down by 2. 20 seconds remaining. Cougars up 12-10. First half grinding down to a halt. Very long quarter, Scott.
Yeah. I mean, with how many goals are we at now in the quarter? 14, 15?
I think 14 or 15 goals scored this quarter.
That's resulting in a whole lot of face-offs.
Yeah, and a lot of
some penalties, a lot of things going on.
It was a lengthy quarter. I'm sure both teams will be kind of ready to another face-off to the Cougars, but a ball down, Meisinger.
So that works. If we can do that in the second half, not that.
Or that. And the footing has been brutal, but it looks like Raiders going to try to maintain possession.
He just kind of gives it a chuck.
Well, it did take care of it. So
what you saw in that last face-off was they did win it, but they slowed it down. It wasn't in Carlson's stick. It was in an LSM stick, so we could disrupt him. A less skilled player forced a turnover and almost got possession. But that's got to be the conversation in the locker room. It's how do we slow them down? Again, I would be surprised if we had it in their end more than a minute and a half or a minute 45 in the entire quarter.
No, it was clearly possession Cougars in quarter number 2.
If you're a lacrosse coach and you say, wow, in less than 2 minutes of possession, we got 4 goals. That's pretty darn good.
Right.
The problem is your opponent in 10 minutes had 11 goals.
Right.
If we can get that possession to half and half, I think this looks good for the Wildcats. I'm not confident we can get it there, though.
No, so again, too, it was the tale of 2 teams. First, it's like they switched uniforms from the first to the second quarter. The face-offs, we're going to have to deal with those secondary and tertiary wins by flipping the ball to our LSMs, or at least getting them to start deeper in their zone if they are going to maintain. Yep. And then we're just going to have to go back to that formula of get possession, get down, either go bing, bang, and score, or set something up.
Absolutely.
All right, listen, folks, so we are 9 minutes until we get this third quarter underway. It's 10-12 Cougars here in Wildcat Country, and we'll be coming back at you here very shortly. Thanks for tuning in. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Quarter number 3, about ready to start. We're here at Wildcat Stadium. 12-10 Cougars in town from Lakeville South. And Scott, basically 2 opposing quarters, quarter 1 and quarter 2 for the Wildcats.
Yeah, dominated the first quarter. We're up 6-1. We're 12-10 in favor of the Cougars at the end.
Kind of a tertiary, almost a tertiary face-off win, possession Lakeville South, and we get going here, quarter 3.
Again, better than a clean win, but we had an opportunity there, and we've got to rewrite all of our keys to the game because this thing's taken a different direction. The Wildcats need to get the ball in Lakeville South's end for about 4 minutes in each quarter, and they should be able to win this game. Now the challenge is being able to do that. That's 4 minutes out of a 12-minute quarter. Let's see if they can make those adjustments and make that happen.
Meisinger with a nice ground ball, feeds Wilson.
As the Wildcats change up possession, get the LSM off the field, reset with 3 short stick middies and the attacks. So, again, we got possession. This is a much better start. See if we can slow down what happens here. A shot by Whip, sails wide.
Cats
again,
will maintain.
I think 4 minutes out of a 12-minute quarter would be enough. Would love to see it be 6-6, but we'll take whatever we can get now. So could it be that the Wildcats are going to be the ones trying to slow this game down?
Well, Lakeville certainly put a lot of goals in a short amount of time, so it could be, nice try as Wilson looked to find Colbert down by the goal, and a really nice play by their defender. Wilson picks it up again. Wisely takes it behind the net.
He's still battling for it. I think it's
Sure
still
is.
in his stick. Hey, I like that. Wilson's a scorer, right? There's a tendency there to just try and make it happen. He looked up, saw the lane clogged, and pulled up. Eagan maintains possession. So now a good shot. Can we get back to those cuts to the interior, feeding from behind the net from that X position, right? Let's get back to what got us to 6-1. Stone looking to sneak in from behind that. He loves that move, using that kind of curling around and using his left hand shot there. It just didn't have a good look there, but we've seen that earlier in the season be effective for him.
Wilson over to Colbert as the Cats clearly are slowing it down and actually trying to balance out that possession game a little bit as they've had the ball for the majority of the third quarter. We're 2 minutes into it.
So again, a shot. Colbert gets his own rebound, picks up the ground ball.
Wow.
And draws a penalty.
Yeah.
Little football tackle there.
It'll be helpful.
You can't check somebody on the ground. When they're on the ground, you can't check them.
Yeah, so Colbert lost his footing and then tried to kind of create some space for himself. He could never get his feet back under and went down to his knees. And the Cougar defender kind of a body check from behind, which is a no-no in the world of lacrosse. 30-second penalty, man up for the Wildcats.
Oh, we got a timeout, right? Do we? Looks like it.
Timeout red, 9:30 remaining, quarter 3.
So, again, the Wildcats are maintaining that possession. We haven't got a goal yet. I maybe going to need to revise my 4-minute comment that I made a little bit ago. But we already have had more possession in the Lakeville South end than we did in the entire second quarter. So this is the formula that's going to work for the Wildcats. We got a couple of shots off, didn't get a goal, but maintained that possession. So this is a key opportunity here. It'd be nice to get one back and get some momentum rolling in our favor.
Yeah, we'll see if we can't, speak to the fact that we're a man up with the ball and maybe set something up for a quick goal. And again, the mantra seems to be in the face-off circle. Push it back a little bit. Push it back a little bit. And if you're not going to win it outright, at least try to get the red to start from a little deeper in their zone.
Yeah. Prevent those fast breaks. Prevent Carlson from just penetrating immediately into that scoring area. So we'll see what we can do here on the man-up situation. pass intercepted.
Yeah, looking to go cross field with it.
So again, we've seen a few of those cross field passes.
Skip pass.
Oh, and some green grass to work with. That's been a dangerous proposition tonight. So again, those crossfield passes, they're a home run if you hit them. If they miss, you create a turnover, right?
Or it might be the horn on the side, like on that 30-second timer on the table.
Yeah, that was a well-placed stick on that last interception. The Cougars have it down behind the Wildcat net. Under 9 minutes, quarter number 3.
So get back to the first quarter, getting bodies, playing physical, good foot movement, keeping those attackers from the Cougars out of the scoring area. There, that's a huge turnover, big pickup.
Gibby. Oh, that's Stone. Oh, another one. Oh, and Damian. I think the defender may have gotten a stick on that.
I think he did, but it didn't matter.
Out and went right back into Damian's stick, and Schultz puts it in. That's 8 from 5. Schultz from Stone.
A nifty little finish there. We haven't talked as much about Damian yet tonight, but nifty hands.
Absolutely.
Great hands, ability to control a pass and just manipulate a defender and a goalkeeper to convert that pass into a goal. Nice play.
Well, there hasn't been much to talk about in quarter 2 because we didn't have the ball, for the most part of the quarter, as looks like Pavic's going to get in the circle for this face-off. 11-12 in favor of the Cougars. Cats down 1, quarter 3. Kind of a clean face-off win.
So what else? So it was clean, but he backed him up, and it looked like we had an opportunity to go after him. But Carlson's fast. He's beating his guys into the offensive zone. Good face-off specialist, good athlete. We got to find a way to slow him down a little bit.
He won't be the best face-off guy we probably will face.
No,
this year.
he won't. No. We'll get to that probably a week from this coming Saturday. We will see a one of the best. My argument, probably the best face-off guy in the state. One of maybe the better guys in the country at his age group, Jack Banuski from Benilde St. Margaret's. Again, we'll talk about that a week from Saturday when that comes to pass. But he's a good one, and we will see better ones. Not to take anything away from Peter Carlson, but there's a couple out there that are at a whole different level.
Right.
Yep. Except for Chelsea. All the Millses were at 22. All the Sorensens were at 3.
So again, feels like slowing it down a little bit, getting some tempo, dictating the pace, keeping the ball away from the Cougars.
Well, yeah, and that's the other obvious upside to possession is that your opponent can't score. Looks like Sorensen trying to create some space. Well advised to look elsewhere. Finds Schultz. Nifty little move. And, a big save. Wilson, though, who's got space. Oh, just over the top. He had nowhere to shoot. That goalie really had some angle on him.
He did, yeah. He looks like he was really that
out of the net.
There was about an inch in the upper left-hand corner.
And he went for it.
Yeah, he did.
There we go.
Nice.
3 from 2.
Colbert to Sorensen for the goal from the back of the net.
So again, we had 3 or 4 of these in the first quarter, originating from behind the net. Cutter gets in, gets a quick release, and scores a goal and ties it up. That appears to be the formula that works, is working for the Wildcats. And the South goalie, Carter Hubener, is a little susceptible to that, as a lot of goalies are. Right, that's
Absolutely.
a tough play to defend. Nice feed in by Colby Sorensen, sophomore. Nice, athletic, strong player, is going to convert those, right?
So we're all knotted up at 12 with 6:38 left in the third. Here, Wildcat Stadium, Lakeville South Cougars in town visiting on this kind of blustery, almost like a football
it
night.
Feels like that, right?
We've had some decent games, and then you get the proverbial and you're due a couple of typical spring weather type games here. Looks like the officials are moving to a little more stable piece of real estate here in the center of Wildcat Stadium.
We saw that a couple of games ago where they had to move slid it off to the side there to get another clean win.
Oh,
another slip. So
Yeah.
the key is, okay, if he wins, collapse on him. Force him to slow down. At a minimum, force the Cougars to reset, which they've done.
we're all tied at 12 again here, folks. This has been kind of a back-and-forth game. And not so much back and forth in real time as it's been big shot, kind of underneath, kind of a scoop shot to Steele's right. When if we mention a goaltending change at halftime for the Wildcats, the senior Manny Steele between the posts for the Wildcats here as the Cougars with possession. Kind of a personnel change for the Cats.
Yeah, and we've seen that on a few occasions this year. This is our 5th game. I think in 3 of the games they've split time.
Yep.
So we're, again, don't know what the situation was, whether it was a planned switch or whether there was Coach Felter decided to go a different direction. We don't know. It doesn't really matter. Steele's in net.
Wyatt Bucky with the ground ball. Tried to feed Sorensen just a little off the money. Did clear the center line. Didn't see who goes. Colbert with the ground ball over to Meakin, over to Wilson as the Cats will slow it down and set up with 5:28 remaining quarter 3.
So I like the defensive stop there. That was fantastic. We created that turnover. Had a little trouble moving the ball up the field and getting possession, but we were able to do it.
Good trail.
Colbert with the ground ball that was not on the ground. It was kind of a jump ball.
Can we create a new stat here, a JV or air
Yeah,
ball? Or
jump ball, air ball.
We'll see what the managers give him credit for there.
Cats did maintain, which is important.
Yeah, at the end of the day, whatever you're going to call it, we maintain possession.
Well, you mentioned earlier about defensive stops. If you find yourself in a position unable to win face-offs, your next best defense is clearly and obviously defensive stops. And we've had a couple of those. They're not face-off wins, which are huge, but they help.
Mm-hmm.
Schultz back up top to Wilson, who's going to kind of slow it down a little bit. A little arm over move there. Right inside. Just Sorensen
couldn't
could
get a
not
handle
hang
on it. So you know what teams are? South is doing this. They're pressing. They're getting right up on Wilson, and they're forcing him to make a move. That seems to be a recipe for success. If you give him room, he's going to burn you. So what teams are doing is playing him tight. The risk certainly there is he can distribute the ball just as much as he can score, right? And we've seen some of that tonight too.
Save.
Big save by Steele. He's trying to dump it out just a little too far. Meakin almost got disruptive there. The Cougars are back with the ball trying to set up.
Too much green space. Nice recovery there by that was Tommy
Meisinger, who got the flag. Probably going to be a push of some sort, most likely. We're going to go man down, push with possession.
Maybe a good penalty if there is such a thing.
Precisely, yeah. It was maybe one of those calls you could see go either way, but the guy was clearly imposing his will on the goaltender. So Meisinger made a nice play. It's just he got flagged for it.
And we talked earlier, there was a penalty shortly after a goal. It's like if you're going to take somebody down, don't let them score. Take them down.
Right,
and,
do it before the goal, precisely.
Meisinger got his stick in there, so Meisinger will be out for a minute for a trip.
Cats are man down here, 12-12, all tied up at 12, and we've got 3:25 remaining in the third quarter. Much faster quarter.
Yep.
Clearly fewer goals scored. This might be the first penalty of the third quarter, so the stoppage of play has been minimal, which helps the pace, although conversely, both teams have opted to slow it down a little bit. So Cougars working that perimeter. Not really finding a lot of opportunity to get it inside. Not a lot of shots. There's a big shot over the head of Steele. Cougars will maintain. They're not giving them that inside shot, Scott, on this possession necessarily. So
no, you got again. It's about speed. It's about footwork. Defensive coaches footwork,
Nice.
and it's why in situations like this.
Meakin, who's got good hands, he's got good feet on the field. He feeds Gallus, who runs well. He's looking. Doesn't see much, takes a shot. He couldn't really see, he would have had to almost put the brakes on to set up, which wouldn't have been a bad thing to do.
Yeah, when you're
there's a turnover. He has a pole. We would have loved to see that as they're breaking.
Recover, got to recover there, got to recover. Nice recovery.
Yeah,
Whips.
the defense kind of got going back and forth on that last one. The ball's back out in no man's land. Oh, kind of a dangerous kind of a sweep by the Cougar player, and he takes himself out of bounds. Nice unforced turnover by the Cougars as the Cats will take over with just over 2 minutes remaining. 12-12 in the third.
Okay, time. Need a smart. Whoa. Okay, smart possession here.
Quick shot by Whips. I think he turned to fire. He had the shot. He didn't see that there was a defender closing in. Cats should maintain as Wilson's looking. A lot of spinning and looking. There's the shot. Oh,
he's looking for that upper corner, right? You can see it. The Lakeville again. They're playing really tight on him. That's Nick Aguilera, the senior D-pole, playing him really tight.
I don't know if
aggressive.
Wilson would have shot, but Aguilera went down, and when Wilson looked, as we see, was just off the mark. Whips with the shot. Schultz giving chase as the pole's trying to clear, kind of a tossed out no man's land. Thrall with the
nice
ground
pickup.
ball. Kind of a back across the body toss out to Whips. Whips will bring it in for the touch. Back up top, and again, Cats maybe trying to slow it down. Stone looking, big shot, and I don't know if they will maintain. Just over a minute remaining, quarter three, the fastest quarter, and probably balanced possession, maybe in the favor of the Cats.
Yeah, a little bit in the favor of the
Maybe a
Cats.
minute or so.
I got to retract my 4-minute statement. I think the Wildcats have had well more than 4 minutes, and they tied the game up. I would have thought, based on how the first quarter went, they would have been able to get a couple more in, but much different quarter.
Yeah, clearly the Cats came into the second half with a little more of a sense of urgency and looked a lot more like the team of quarter number one. As Schultz is looking, finds Wilson for a shot. That might go Cougars' way, yeah. Oh. Ooh, long outlet pass, which is going to be tough to handle.
That's going to be
an
Eagan ball.
Should be an Eagan ball, and it is. That's huge.
So after a scoring barrage in the second quarter, we've seen 2 goals in the third. Feels like a completely different lacrosse game.
Yeah, both teams are kind of playing with kind of this multiple personality thing. They're coming out hard, and then they're Stone kind of running into someone, keeping his hands clear to prevent the perceived ward. You got Wilson, who's
look at that physical play there on Wilson
and creating some space. Did he lose the ball? Looks like he got it over to Colbert, who's looking for a shot and finds one. Big save, right
ball
out
still
front.
Loose. See if we can get a shot off here.
Playing the body on. Oh, and that did wind her down. We kind of got tied into the game there. We were under a minute. We did realize that. We're going to end the third quarter at 12-12.
So Eagan did a better job with possession, slowed the game down a little bit, made some big defensive stops, some of those things we talked about at the start of the game. And this didn't quite resemble the first quarter, but looked a little bit like that. Eagan was doing some of the things right. Face-offs were still in South's favor, but we were able to slow them down. We didn't see a Peter Carlson win it, charge the net, and get a shot right. So that's better, right? Gotta have the fourth quarter now. Defensively, you got to make some stands like you did there. Some big turnovers, some nice ground ball pickups. Offensively, we were dictating the tempo a little bit in their end and got some shots. Need to convert some of them through now and see if we can take this one.
Yeah, if this was a heavyweight fight, that round, if you will, would have gone in favor of the Wildcats. We heard some chatter in the press box here that the Cats outshot the Cougars by about a margin of 6-1, outscored them by a margin of 2-1, probably outpossessed them by a good, strong 2 or so minutes, and just looked like their flow was back.
Yep.
They clearly looked like they lost their mojo and their rhythm in I almost said round 2 in the second quarter, but they clearly came out with the intention of having a much better third quarter, and we will be out here briefly. We have the goaltender change at halftime, 30 seconds, and we'll have quarter number 4 underway. And here we go.
So this is, I guess, what was advertised. You know, the 10th-ranked Wildcats against the 7th-ranked Cougars. This is kind of what we expected, a tight game. Teams are battling. This is turning into a key game early on in the South Suburban Conference race. And, you know, I would say probably a little bit of a bigger game for the Wildcats on their home field. So let's see what they can do to wrap this one up here. 12-12 as we start the fourth quarter.
Here you go, Tommy.
Tommy gets a stick. Meisinger with an interception and a nice ability to get the handle on the ball. He gets it to Colbert for the touch and the look, and we've got Cats running all over the place. Oh, just a little bit of a off back to Meisinger he was going to over on the cross field. It's like Diffley with possession.
Again, a side-to-side pass couldn't quite connect there. It's not the sun like we had last time when we were here. Remember, that was an issue in the last game.
Absolutely.
So don't know what the issue is this time, but those haven't been connecting as well as we would like.
No eye black required tonight.
None at all, no. Maybe some hand warmers and foot warmers.
Yeah, that I would agree with. The Cats have possession, and we are in quarter 4 here, all tied up at 12. Nice backhand shot by Schultz. I don't know if it was on the mark. The angle was kind of poor, and we just had some lights go down.
Oh, this will be interesting. We lost a
bank of lights over on the southeast side of the stadium. I think it's just one bank. I want to say that may have happened in a football game a couple of years ago. We lost a bank of lights, so you know, they're going to stop play momentarily. But I'm no electronics guy, but I don't think these things just flip back on.
No, they take once you get them back on. You know, it takes a few moments for them to warm up. So we're going to have some kind of extended stop here, which on a 40-degree night is not what you want.
Clearly.
Just a minute and 5 seconds into the fourth quarter. Boy, if you're Eagan, you kind of wanted this thing to keep going because you felt like you had the momentum back, and now you get sort of you're going to get like a second halftime here, and the issue has to be resolved. It isn't a game like football where you could feasibly like flip and just use one half of the field.
Right.
You got to get this fixed. It's too dark out there to see a lacrosse ball, particularly on the far east side of the field.
Yeah, so it's a distinct advantage for one team versus another, depending on who's in the dark. So we'll get our people to look at this while we button up the press box here because it is a bit chilly. You'll know what we know. We'll take a short break here from the broadcasting, and we'll come back at you shortly. We're 1:05 into quarter 4, 12-12 Cats and Cougars in a slightly darker Wildcat Stadium. We'll come back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back after that problem we had with the Southeast light standard. Just to bring you up to speed here, the lights are back on here at Wildcat Stadium. 10:55 to go in this contest. 12-12 Cats. They're 12-12 Cats and Cougars. There was clearly a definitive momentum that was in favor of the Wildcats, Scott, right when the lights went out.
So let's see if the Wildcats can keep that going. Kind of an extended timeout, like you said, and see if they can keep that momentum going and take control and finish the game up here in the fourth quarter. So now everybody's cold. Everybody's slowed down. You did halftime, slowed down, come back, warm up. Third quarter, stop, cool down. Players were trying to stay loose, trying to stay warm, but it's hard on a cold night like this. It's 41 degrees with a breeze blowing in from the east side of the stadium.
Yeah, no, all players were out there trying to keep their legs loose. But a stoppage is a stoppage. And, again, most importantly, the Cats had a real momentum shift that was going on. And big save by Steele.
Hey, that's a great first save. I was just about to comment that this is probably harder on the goalies than anybody, because as a goalie, you're training yourself, your eyes are warmed up, your body's set and ready to stop shots, and you're coming out cold. You don't get a warm-up period.
No, you do
and,
not.
Yeah, they're playing catch and they're keeping mentally focused in the game, but it's not the same as seeing a live shot. And that's great for Manny to just get that first one, right, to get that confidence. Yeah. And, hey, the Wildcats, let's get a good shot here against Hubner and put one in and see if we can rattle them a little bit.
Yeah, it definitely looks like they're slowing the game down a little bit and looking for quality shots. We're knotted up at 12 here, 9:33, quarter number 4, and a real back-and-forth contest here at Wildcat Stadium. Lakeville South Cougars in town. They had a wild second quarter. Yeah. Third quarter advantage Wildcats, much like the first quarter, where they had a 6-1 advantage. Meakin behind the net trying to create space. And fourth quarter underway. Cats moving the ball. Possession. Boom. Lights go out. And not figuratively, Scott. Literally.
Yeah,
the
lights went out. Well, we talked during the break when we were off the air. Maybe the scoreboard was having some trouble computating all the goals, and it just sucked some power from the grid.
Yeah,
and
could be.
The Southeast Light Bank couldn't do it.
Wilson trying to keep that arm down as he was trying to create space, and the ball came out. That off arm was getting awful far. Colbert with a nice stick check.
See if we can get a ground ball out of there. Maybe. Yep. Nope. Yep. Oh, nice ground ball there.
Lost his feet, looking for some help. Didn't find. Oh, right to the face. No flag. Colbert back up top to Diffley as he resets. Diffley's taking a look. Billy Diffley shot from Billy fed. Diffley feeds. I think that was.
It was Colby Sorensen.
Yeah, Sorensen with a point blank shot. Oh, and a push for the turnover. It'll be Cougars ball.
You wouldn't think of Billy Diffley as being fast with his size, and maybe he doesn't have that track speed, but at 6, is he 6'5", 6'6"? His strides are going to eat up a lot of turf, and he maneuvered his way around the defender. Play looks a little
kind of choppy now.
Yeah.
I think that break might have had something to do with it. It looks like I would suspect a South timeout. I would guess red. No sense in giving them a chance to reset.
No.
7:48 remaining quarter number 4, 12-12 Cats and Cougars.
And what once looked like a wide open shootout affair is turning into a defensive battle here.
Yeah, seemingly so. That and some of the unforced errors and just kind of the I do think that little break kind of disrupted everyone's momentum and rhythm, even though the Cats were kind of smooth and looking real good until the lights did go out. But everybody's going to get their feet back underneath them shortly. And we're just going to have to hope that the Cats find the back of the net at least one more time than the Cougars do down the stretch.
Yep, and you know what? There's a little adversity in this game. It's part of the process. It can happen. Later in the season, we could have lightning delays, right? You could be in a playoff situation where lightning comes, you're off the field for an hour, and you got to go back on and play the game, right?
Yeah, clearly.
These things happen, and as hard as it can be mentally to get focused, particularly with the cooler weather, ultimately that team, I think, that gets a little more mentally focused might come out on top tonight.
Yeah, I would agree. So here we go. We're coming out of that Cougar timeout. It'll be Lakeville South possession. The Cats are going to mark up. We are at 7:48 remaining quarter 4 as play gets underway.
That's Wyatt Bucky defending the ball there. So again, just again keep the Cougars to the perimeter, prevent those rushes to the net. The Cougars have some fast players, have some good speed. Keep them to the perimeter and try and force a mistake.
Well, you know, for as much of an advantage as it is to be the offensive player on these questionable conditions turf-wise, the poles on both sides have really held up pretty well.
Oh, they sure have,
the
absolutely.
The offensive guy is trying to create spaces. That ball is on the turf right now. It looks like that's going to be Thrall looking for Thrall to Merwin. He's hoping to find his goaltender. Merwin's going to bring it out of the zone and across midfield. He's looking for an outlet. And he will find Stone. Nicely done, because there was running out of options there. Those are tenuous moments as your poles bring that ball out. They have to find someone. It's one step behind your goalie bringing it out that far.
Yep.
You're like, you know he's not going to shoot, but you clearly know that he has to find the outlet or it's a blown opportunity.
Yep.
So well done by the Wildcats behind the net to create the turnover. Thrall picking it up as the Cats looked like Stone tried to get a shot. Cats will maintain possession.
Yeah,
as
doesn't
he
look like it.
Wasn't able to finish.
Wait, okay. Well, Wildcat
ball.
Possession.
The shot was never able to be completed, but now he might be being overruled. There's going to be a discussion here. I think the initial thoughts are he was shooting, in the act of shooting, but ran into the defender.
Yeah, that's what I saw too. I mean, granted, we're biased towards the home team here, but
no, the official who called it initially is going to maintain the call, and Cats will maintain possession.
Our assistant executive producer is serving as our referee, spokesman, and he has
rules
also concurred
analyst.
It was a shot. Yeah, rules analyst. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Thanks, Ken.
And Stone trying to make something happen, got the ball to the ground. Cats will Cougars. Oh, nice attempt by someone to really rough up that goalie. That's Colbert, and kind of a fast rush.
Ball's bouncing all over the place. We got to see if we can win. Oh, it's still on the ground. Still on the ground. Still on the ground.
Oh. Okay, so the Cougars will maintain possession with 5:49 remaining in this real back-and-forth affair since the power outage, if you will.
Yeah, a pretty balanced game since then. In the a little over 5.5 minutes since that happened. Oh, he's snuck around the backside. The Wildcats have been doing such a nice job of defending that.
Yeah.
Really since the second quarter. Just got a step on the defender there. I believe that was that on Eli Dolney as he was moving around him.
So 13-12 Cougars, 5:34 remaining in what has been a kind of a back and forth affair tonight. Everything from questionable footing to questionable conditions to power outages, but here we are in the fourth quarter, heading into the last 5 minutes. One of our first face-offs in a while, Scott.
Yeah, really, it has. We've only had, that was our third goal in the half.
15.
So really only our fourth face-off. So we haven't talked about this much because, like you said, there haven't been as many face-offs. But if you can't win, slow them down.
Oh, I see a hold there. Oh, and Meisinger with the nice ground ball.
That'll work. That's what we need to do.
Clearly.
Maybe that's the Wildcats' recipe for success, right, when you come up against a skilled face-off specialist.
His stick was caught in his glove. Did you see that?
I did see that, actually, yeah. So we had a little bit of adversity we had to contend with there, but the Cats did get that secondary face-off win with a nice ground ball by Meisinger as the Cats were trying to set up and try to find this game-tying goal.
We're at just under 5 minutes. You got to be careful here. You want to get a good shot. You don't want to force a poor shot.
Or try to do
there
too
we
much.
go. There we go.
So the whole bunch of things, Scott, were happening on that play. Wilson created some space, dished it off to Stone in the middle, who kind of could not grab the handle. Colbert, Johnny on the spot with the ground ball, shot, score, tie ball.
Yep,
game.
nice pickup, nice finish. Get this thing tied.
13 all with 4:46 remaining. Can't thank our friends from ETV enough for setting up shop on this frigid night and taking care of business from the technical point of view. I got Scott to my left and our assistant to the traveling secretary to my left, Mr. Mills, taking care of communications with the scorers table. PA announcer for Wildcat Stadium, you can hear in the background, is the Cats battle for the possession on faceoff and get it. That's Wyatt Bucky, who dishes it over. Colbert with receiving a cross field pass, and the Cats will slow it down.
So again, a second face-off in a row. We kind of use that recipe: tie them up, get a scrum, get the ball to pop free, and let one of our poles go get it.
Yep, absolutely. We got speed at those LSM with the Gallus, Meisinger, Wyatt Bucky.
Yep.
We've got guys that can move from the side and get in there.
And they've got good hands too. That's an important part of that role,
Absolutely.
right? One of the reasons they're in those positions. Again, same approach as last possession. Don't force it. Be smart. If somebody gives you a look, take it. Don't force a bad shot. We have a tie ball game.
Wilson's been working that left side all season, but he clearly has got moves like Jagger in there as he looks, and just a beautiful feed.
Oh, that was a fantastic. Hey, we talk about Wilson's ability to score. We've seen some nice passes tonight. That was a great feed. Again, folks, the game's moving really fast, right? That ball's coming fast.
Kind of a big save on a shot from Colbert as he tried to turn the corner and get a shot off.
Roll. That's going to be Eagan ball.
Yeah, that's a tough turnover. You can see the goalie. He's got his hands on his helmet. That was a really unforced error at a critical point. 3:29 remaining, knotted up at 13. Whips bring it in and dumps it down in the corner to Colbert, who looks behind the net. And
Schultz couldn't keep the handle on it there.
Yeah, that was tough. So kind of tit for tat on the turnovers here, but that's kind of part of the ball game. It's been that kind of game all night. So we'll see now what kind of answer the Cougars have as they bring it out across midfield. Gallus defending the ball at the moment. One of our talented LSMs who sees a lot of pole duty as well. And you got Donley defending the ball behind the net. Cougars are going to set it up. We're at just under 3 minutes remaining. Ball goes back up top.
So, look, we know it's worked for the Cougars, right? Sneaking around the back of the net, taking advantage of a slip or a quick move around the Eagan pole or a quick cut to the net, and that's what the Cougars are going to be looking for here. Here he comes, looking.
Got a push there, I think, maybe. Clearly went the other way than what I was seeing.
Wow,
I will maintain possession.
I would have. Not again. Ken, that couldn't have come at a better time for the Wildcats.
No, it was almost like the exact opposite, Scott, of the last time. For those of you that can't tell on your 70-inch HD screens at home, we are without a light standard yet again. Same situation, tie ball game. 2.5 minutes ago it happened, or maybe a little bit more. The difference this time is that the Cougars were kind of like invoking their will on the Wildcats.
Yeah, and I thought the push was going to go against the Cougars, and Eagan was going to have possession. I don't know what
the lacrosse gods want to object to that no call, and maybe a call that could have gone in our favor had they seen it our way.
Well, I wonder, it's going to take a few minutes to get this resolved again. I wonder at what point the referees say enough's enough. There is only 2:24 left. I think you have to make an effort to finish the game. I really think you do.
It isn't like it's the second time that happened early in the fourth quarter. We do have a nice little, I'm not sure if we're still broadcasting or not, but we are about to watch some Lakeville South easy ups go airborne here.
Yep.
As the wind is picking up, and it could be weather related. Yep. So
are we still on?
We're going to sign off here briefly in the event that we're not already off, and we're 13-13 through yet another light outage here at Wildcat Stadium. We'll see you shortly. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've been down this road before. Lights are back on at Wildcat Stadium. It's 2:24 remaining, quarter four, 13-13 Cougars Wildcats. Cougars with possession. Scott, after a third halftime, Cougars get us started here in quarter four.
Yep. So again, we're coming out. We came out a little choppy when everybody did after that first light outage break. Now there's a greater sense of urgency. We're at 2:07 and counting, and there's just not a lot of time left to work with. It's a tie game. I think this is mental, Ken. I think this is more mental than physical now, and the team that mentally stays sharp probably comes out of here with a win.
Yeah, I think you have to avoid the mistakes. A silly penalty or a slip up on the pole on the defense. Keep your feet, et cetera, et cetera. Don't let anybody get uncovered. But I would agree. Keep your composure. Find the nicely. Is that Meisinger with a well-placed stick?
Stays after it. See if we can get a ground ball here.
There's that jump ball again.
Okay.
Meisinger in his sure hands. He's looking for help. Doesn't see a lot. There's a lot of dangerous passes out there. He goes cross court to Donley, who gets it over to Whips, and it's Wildcat ball with the touch.
Well, what do you do here? Do you take a timeout or you try to get one? Well, it looks like Wilson with a quick shot. I would thought maybe Coach Felter would have called a timeout there.
1:16 remaining, Wildcats with possession. So now, Scott, I think you let her wind down and find that perfect shot, correct?
Yeah. I mean, again, it's kind of like on the man up. If you or when you're man down and you get possession, it's like if somebody gives you a good look, take it. Don't force it. Make smart plays, and if you get a good look, finish it.
Oh, big save. Schultz with a big shot. Cats are going to maintain possession on the ground ball by Stone.
48 seconds.
I would guess timeout, Wildcats.
No, it was a referee time.
Referee time. Oh, the goaltender may be a little shook up. Could be an equipment thing. So stoppage of play, as I think the goaltender's may have broken his throat guard or something. He took a really point-blank shot somewhere up, maybe the helmet. We'll see what he's quick adjustment of the equipment. Switch helmet, so he probably dislodged the face mask or something. 47.6 remaining, quarter four, 13-13. Quick stoppage of play, officials timeout for equipment. Cats with possession. You think they probably look for that quality shot now?
I would have thought that. I would have said take a, at first, in the first 30, 40 seconds, make sure you got a good look. It felt like they were rushing a little too kind of quick shots. It felt a little rushed. I think for the next 25, 30 seconds, it better be a good look. It better be a really good look because you don't want to give up possession if the goalie saves it. Lakeville South brings it down and has a chance to win the game at the end. So smart possession, smart look, smart passes. And when the game resumes, see if you can take care of business here.
Well, and if history is any predictor, if we score with an appreciable amount of time remaining, we will be on the defensive side briefly because we just have not won very many of our face-offs tonight. So we're getting ready to get started here. 47-6, Stone on top, brings it out top to Whips, and we're underway.
Another slip there. Boy, the field, you can hear it when the players run. The field's hard, which seems that's going to slow. Oh, boy.
That's a tough turnover for the Wildcats with 30 seconds remaining. We'll see what can happen here.
I think you have to try to force a turnover. I think you have to gamble and try to force a turnover. They've got too much firepower and too much ability to finish. You can't sit back and wait for them to shoot.
So we're being told that Lakeville does not have a timeout remaining, and they're trying to get the ball across midfield, and they do. We're down under 15 seconds. Ball's on the ground. A turnover would be great. You would take that timeout maybe if we have one. Schultz is looking.
Oh, Wilson scored. Is it going to count?
They can't wave it off. It's a goal from the middle. The official at the center of the field is saying goal.
The signal's a goal, and that's the ball game.
We do not see any objection by the Cougar fans or the Cougar players. That is a goal. That is a game.
And I believe that was Drew Wilson.
It looked like Schultz. Yeah, it looked like Schultz feeding Wilson with the goal.
Hold on a second. We're gonna get some information from the field. So the official signaled a goal. There's no replay in high school lacrosse. If there's a goal signaled on the field, it's a goal. The game's over.
Goal. Yeah, and time was clearly wearing down.
I mean, the question is, if there's a fraction of a second left, you could have a face-off, but you know.
Yeah,
we think
Drew from Damien, and the teams are going to shake hands, and this one's going to go in the books as a tough loss for the Cougars, who clearly came in with much more to gain by winning this contest.
So, hey, what we learned tonight, those of you watching, the Cougars are for real. They're 4-1 now. They're for real. They're going to be able to compete with anybody in the South Suburban Conference, and they're going to be able to make a run at that Section 1 title. Of course, Lakeville North is going to have something to say about that, but they're a good team. They are fast offensively, and they can generate offense, and they can win face-offs. But you know what? Despite the second quarter, Eagan did what they needed to do when they needed to do it, and will come away with a win.
Well, and that's the bottom line, really. But, Scott, as you look at this game, as we wind this down, how big is this for the Wildcats, and how big is that for them given where we're at in the season?
It's huge. You did two things in the second half. You didn't fix the face-off problem, but you slowed it down and you found a way to mitigate it. You said we can dominate, we can control possession in the third quarter. And when you had to have something happen, it happened. And you know what? Sometimes things like this can lay the groundwork for some good things. Eagan could really ride the momentum of this into the next week, right?
This could clearly be a game that they build on as they move through that little bit softer part of their schedule. Hey, listen, folks, thanks for sticking around with us through two light failures. Cats on top tonight, 14-13, with a buzzer beater at the end. Our good friends from Eagan TV helping us out. It's Cats in Wildcat country over the Cougars from Lakeville South, 14-13. Ken Scott, a traveling secretary, Rich Mills, the PA guy Dave. Everybody's going to go warm up. Thanks, folks, from Wildcat country. We'll see you on Thursday.